All right. We're here with Sean Devine. We're doing the pre-cast countdown. The cast kicks in officially at 9 p.m., but you don't want to miss this segment. If you're listening right now, don't turn it off. God damn it. What's going on, Sean?
Hello.
Can you
Too
hear me?
much. How are you, Doug? Shannon? Good
Yeah.
to be back.
All right. What you?
So, in the vein of it being Thanksgiving week, instead of we're going to skip the what might have been, and we're going to go with a super four for this week. So, because everybody's going to eat too much on Thursday anyway, so we're going to get four games tonight. Um, and I should add, this is the first time in a number of weeks where the games I picked matched up to the ones I sent to you before the beginning of the season started. So,
Okay.
Um, we were pretty spot on, I think, with what we thought was going to be the big games. So the one that I'm adding, we did not suspect would be a big game at this point in time. I think for one of the teams we did, but the other one certainly not. The 9-2 and 12th ranked Wisconsin Badgers are visiting the 10-1 and 10th ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers on Saturday. Uh, this game will decide the Big Ten West Division title. Who gets to go to Indianapolis? The Badgers come in as a 2.5 point favorite. The over/under is 48, and the weather is expected to be not so hot. It's going to be nice and cold, upper Midwest, outdoors at TCF Bank Stadium in the Twin Cities. This is the is a nugget for this game. This is the um, longest played rivalry in the FBS, dating all the way back to 1890. And for having played as many times, it's exactly knotted at 60 wins for each school in 8 ties.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's now another crazy historical nugget. So they play for a rivalry trophy in this game. It's the second rivalry trophy. The first rivalry trophy they played for was a wooden, what they called a wooden slab of bacon, but it was lost when Wisconsin was moving from their initial athletic facility to their new one in 1948. They lost the slab of bacon, so they built a newer, better rivalry trophy, I think, which is the Paul Bunyan axe, which is a 15-foot tall axe that the two teams play for. Last year, the Gophers, needing a win to become bowl eligible, went into Camp Randall Stadium and frankly kicked the hell out of Wisconsin, 37-15. Um,
Maybe a precursor to what we're seeing right now.
I, I kind of think so. I really think Minnesota is going to be ready for them. Um, two fairly new coach. Paul Christ has been at Wisconsin for 5 years, and he's done very well um, for what Wisconsin expects. PJ Fleck is in his third year, and no, I don't think anybody saw this coming this quickly for
Right.
Minnesota. Um, the winner of this game will get Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Um, I think this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be exciting, but I think Minnesota is going to take care of business here. They seem like a team on a mission. I know they had a little bit of a slip up at Iowa, but Iowa's a tough place to play. Um, this one should be a good one. It's going to be on 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. I know we got another game to talk about on at the same time, but if you have multiple screens, make sure you have this game on or flip over with your remote when there's a TV timeout because it's going to be a good one.
I agree.
Moving along to our third most important game. Now, this is also we know this is rivalry week, and this is a rivalry game, but this next one, it is a rivalry, but not really. We have the uh, ninth ranked 10-1 Oklahoma Sooners visiting the uh, not ranked, excuse me, the now recently ranked 21st ranked 8-3 Oklahoma State Cowboys in the Bedlam Series game. This game's going to be played in Stillwater, Oklahoma, at Boone Pickens Stadium, built in 1920. Just recently had a facelift, seats 55,500, and they play on field turf there. This is going to be your nightcap game, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Um, Oklahoma dominates this series. They've won 88 meetings, only losing 18 with 7 ties. Though last year we had a typical Big 12 barn burner. Oklahoma held on to win 48-47 in Norman. And really, this game is more important for Oklahoma in the national perspective. A win sets them up with probably a rematch with Baylor in the Big 12 title game and keeps them at least alive for potential college football playoff berth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a loss essentially sinks them to probably a Sugar Bowl bid.
Yep.
But stranger things have happened recently in this series, and we know Mike Gundy loves to get up for this game. Night game in Stillwater.
I want to point out that you haven't really mentioned this, but you did say it wasn't much of a rivalry, which is true. Oklahoma State has not cracked 20 wins yet in this series.
They have not. Nope.
And Oklahoma is 2 wins away from hitting 90.
Yep. I mean,
so it has been lopsided as shit.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely lopsided. And this kind of for Oklahoma is replacing their traditional rivalry game that used to occur on the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is the Nebraska game, which obviously went away when Nebraska left the Big 12 to join the Big 10. But it is heated between the two fan bases. The Cowboys and Sooner fans do not care for each other, and Oklahoma State would love nothing more than to spoil Oklahoma's CFP dreams. I expect Oklahoma to win the game. They're currently a 13.5-point favorite with an over-under of, that's a Big 12 game, 69.5 is the over-under. And it's surprising, I'm probably going to take the over in this game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So moving on to our second biggest game of the weekend. And we're all excited for this one, and will be another one of Shannon's favorite early morning games. The number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes visit the number 13, 8-2 Michigan Wolverines. This is your big noon Fox game of the week at Michigan Stadium, the Big House.
I thought this was your first game.
No.
Okay.
Nope. I think the other one is I maybe got that one wrong for you on there.
It doesn't matter. I got all the graphics here. So.
Yeah. Seats 107,000 playing on field turf. Michigan leads this series 58 wins to 50 losses and 6 ties, but as of late, as we know, it's been all Ohio State. Since the turn of the century, Ohio State's only lost this game twice, encompassing the Tressel era and the Urban Meyer era. Now, this is Ryan Day's first season at Ohio State, so he gets his first taste of the Wolverines. Harbaugh, in his 5th season, has yet to defeat the Ohio State Buckeyes. Last year's meeting in the Horseshoe, the Buckeyes, a game that I was at, absolutely dominated the Wolverines 62-39 in a game that Michigan was really never felt like they were in.
Right.
Ohio State comes into this game as an 8.5-point favorite with an over-under of 52, so they're expecting some high scoring here. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring, though I do believe Ohio State is going to cover that number. The experts have said Ohio State really doesn't need to win this game to make the college football playoff, as obviously they just came off the win over Penn State. They still have the Big Ten title game to play against either a rematch with Wisconsin or a new opponent in Minnesota, but we know about this rivalry. These two teams and fan bases absolutely despise each other, and I don't think Ohio State's taking Michigan lightly in this one. Michigan, having played their first 5 games quite poorly, has rebounded after beating Notre Dame in the Rain Bowl up there, has played quite well since that game.
Yeah.
In fact, last week they dominated a decent 7-2 Indiana team to the tune of 39-14. They're going to be ready. This one's going to be great. I think this is going to be an outstanding game. And if Michigan wins this game, they're not going to go to the Big Ten title game, but they'll be finishing at 10-2, and they'll have an outside shot in the New Year's Six game.
Yep.
So again, this is going to be a great game. It always generally is. Just a few years ago, we had the game that was decided in overtime in Columbus, and it came down to that measurement, if you recall, that Harbaugh didn't really he didn't agree with. But,
yep, I remember that.
This one's going to be a good one. It's your big noon game, so get up, get your breakfast in, and
being an Alabama fan right now, all except for the Iron Bowl, I'm all for some chaos. So, although I will say this, Michigan beating Ohio State, even if they did, is not really going to help Alabama much. It's going to take more than that. what I'm saying is Ohio State does not get knocked out of the CFP with a loss to Michigan unless they just get killed. I don't
which
see.
which we don't see happening,
Right.
as well as Ohio State's defense is playing, and Shea Patterson is still Michigan's quarterback. Let's not forget that.
We don't have to worry about Michigan inching up in there, though. That's the main thing.
Right. No,
So
Michigan will not make.
So
the
it does
CFP.
it does no damage to Alabama either. So
Right. Really, you're going to want to be getting your Oklahoma State gear out for Saturday night. That one would definitely help
or Baylor.
Or Baylor in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And a Utah loss, I'm not sure who Utah's playing at. It's a Pac-12 game. I'm not sure who they're playing exactly, but a Utah loss would certainly help as well.
Yep.
But our number one game, of course, the 10-1 and 5th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide are visiting the 16th-ranked 8-3 Auburn Tigers in the Iron Bowl. Nick Saban's in his 13th year. Gus Malzahn's in his 7th season at Auburn. The Crimson Tide lead this rivalry series 46 wins, 36 losses, and 1 tie in Iron Bowl history. It'll be on your CBS game of the week, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time at Jordan-Hare Stadium, built in 1939, seats 87,400, playing on natural grass. Last year, Alabama absolutely hammered Auburn 52-21. But
I thought it was 55-21.
My apologies, 55-21.
You may be right on that, but I'd have to look it up.
That's what Wikipedia. They had 52-21, 55-20. Either way, the Tide absolutely rolled Auburn. But a couple things that are different. One, there's not going to be Tua Tagovailoa, who is one of the most outstanding quarterbacks, A, in Alabama history, but also in college football history. And B, Auburn's defense has looked a lot better this year as opposed to last year.
Hey, you were right. It was 52-21. I'm thinking of 55-44. I'm getting my Iron Bowls mixed up.
A couple of historical nuggets in this game that I looked up. The first time the Crimson Tide ever played in Auburn for this game, which dates all the way back to 1892. Excuse me, 1893. Was 1989. Was the first time the Tide ever made their way down to the Plains.
Yeah, don't talk about it though. We don't want to talk about that game.
Right, but I just found that interesting that it was nearly 100 years later before they actually got down to Auburn.
Well, for the longest time, Auburn's stadium didn't hold very much, and Alabama's didn't either. They always played in Birmingham because that was a better facility, for that game. But both teams and their facilities came up, and
Jordan-Hare could hold probably about 15,000 more if it weren't for that big ass TV they got. Showing like whack ass Auburn replays,
especially that kick six, right?
Fuck that kick six. I don't want to talk about that shit.
But again, just like the Ohio State-Michigan game, this is one of your classic games. A game you put on your calendar every year. You don't miss. Both schools have legendary coaches. John Heisman and Shug Jordan for Auburn, Bear Bryant and Nick Saban for Alabama. Heisman Trophy winners. Where the big difference is between the two schools, Alabama has the 17 national titles and Auburn only has 2. But this is going to be a very quizzical game. Looking at it, Alabama comes in as a 3.5-point favorite with an over/under at 49.5. But it's going to be a battle between the two quarterbacks. Who's going to play better? Mac Jones of Alabama, who is going to get the nod, or Bo Nix for Auburn? I know Mac had a great game last week, but that was Western Carolina.
Yep, absolutely.
We learned absolutely nothing about Mac Jones or the Alabama Crimson Tide last week.
Right. And as we know, Auburn plays just a tick better at Jordan-Hare Stadium, as we've learned in years past, and strange things happen.
Cheating ass motherfuckers.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. This, to me, is going to be the best game of the day. I think Alabama's going to win this game. They just have too many weapons on offense, and I just don't see Bo Nix pulling this game out as a true freshman. We'll call it Alabama 27, say Auburn 17. I just think the combination of Najee Harris and then the receivers Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs and Devon Smith and Jalen Waddell they're just going to be too much for Auburn. And they haven't looked great in the last few weeks anyway. Against they let Ole Miss hang around, and Ole Miss isn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, other than the LSU game, Alabama's absolutely hammered everyone. So, I have Alabama winning this game.
All right. Next week, we get to talk about the championship games.
Conference championship week. I can't believe it.
And everybody is guaranteed that Alabama will have the week off in the conversation during that championship week.
So we're gonna go ahead and bring on Nick Saban with you next week for the must-see game, Sean.
Yes.
That'd be great. I'd love it. But either way, season's flown by. It's been great. You guys have a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family, and enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you soon, guys.
Same to you, my friend. Take care.
Take care.
All right, guys. We'll be back here in a second.
Biggest, stupidest shit ever. You ain't no radio host. And all that little clapping you do in between, that's so fucking retarded and gay, dude. You're like a little child on Facebook with a new toy, dude.
I also can prophesize the future. And I also can see subliminal messaging.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Miss Pillberry's slow, girl. Now, I'm gonna
really? I'm pretty sure I could truck the shit out of you fucking overgrown baby.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
I'm the greatest smack talker on the fucking face of the earth right now.
Possibility of women playing in the league, I don't think it's impossible.
You fucking punk-ass bitch!
Jesus Christ, that hurt. I'm still gonna.
I'm fucking real, bro. You ain't shit.
Well, this is smacking off. If you don't like it, change your diaper and leave.
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
I'd rather watch softcore porn than have to watch all of that.
No, that's how you make opium, and then from there you gotta process it. Bro, who invited this dude, bro? What the fuck? Get this dude out of here, bro.
No, USC is far better than Oklahoma historically.
Papa, your meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets. I promise you that.
Okay.
Oh shit, this has turned into Kang Arthur's drug class.
How long?
They need you back at the cash register in 5 minutes.
Well, Tiggy's like pipe minus the entertainment value.
Smacking Off the podcast is starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I need it. I have to use it. I mean, now that Frank Levato's referenced it at the very beginning of our podcast, I have to like use this more now. Welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer. What's up, Doug?
Thanksgiving head of this way. Iron Bowl. A lot of big games. Florida State and Florida. That's a big one.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, there's nothing big about that game at all.
Kentucky, Louisville.
Why hasn't anybody recommended the Heisman Award go to Felipe Franks' foot? Because if it weren't for him injuring his foot like he did, Florida would not be where they're at right now. I think we can all agree on that. And I'm not saying Trask has single-handedly done it, but I think Trask has been not only a better quarterback, but also proved a better game manager for their offense and kept them in the game in places where in games that they probably should have lost.
Yes, sir. So, yeah. We're joined tonight with we've also got Justin Brindley with us.
Justin Brindley, what's up, homie?
Oh, nothing much, fellas. Enjoying that big old Thanksgiving dinner.
What'd you have? Tell us about it.
I had chicken and dumplings. I had turkey, dressing balls.
Wait a minute. You had no. Back that up. You had chicken and dumplings and turkey.
Yes, sir.
I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind that. Actually, I'm a big chicken and dumplings guy. Let me tell you a quick story. When we first moved to Alabama back in, it's been a long time ago. I was a little kid. We were poor. We were broke ass poor when we first moved here. Dad had just lost his job up in Ohio, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, which is damn near the Canadian border. And our very first Thanksgiving dinner here, we ate chicken and dressing, which was like chicken casserole, like chicken with dressing in it, like chopped up chicken.
It is some of the best eating that you'll ever have.
It was. There. It's still, and I can still remember it. I can still taste that shit, and it's fucking delicious. It really is.
I grew up on my grandmother's dressing that she makes, and it's some of the best dressing you'll ever have.
My mom does stuffing. We're from the north, and she's a lot of her people from like Indiana, Ohio, that area, and they do the bread stuffing up there, and she does a stuffing. I swear, and we all fight over it, especially some of the southern kids that were friends with my brothers and sisters when they come over for Thanksgiving. They'd fight over because they'd never had anything like that. Because, it's down here in the South, it's all about the stuffing. Or, excuse me, not stuffing, dressing. It's all about dressing down here.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
enough of the Thanksgiving talk. We got some more important business to attend to.
Oh, hell yeah, we do.
Let's talk about this college football playoff ranking tonight.
Fresh off the presses.
Oh, yeah. The way I see it, personally, honestly, I think LSU deserves the drop in it, and the way I see it is Alabama put 41 on them, following week 37 on them, and the following week, if I've read it correctly, 30-plus points.
No defense. Ole Miss, one of the worst teams in the SEC right now, was able to get how many points again? 30, 31,
38.
38. 30, oh, shit,
38 and 402 yards on the ground.
Wow. That's Ole Miss.
No defense. The way I see it, defense, if you're going to win games, it starts down there in the trenches. Any way you go about it, you can have all the good quarterbacks in the world, all the once-in-a-lifetime players. But when it comes down to it, you got to have the guys down in the trenches on both sides. I call them the big nasties and the big hungers.
Let me tell you something. And actually, we were having a very great off-air conversation right before the show about this very subject. And Doug, I want you to take it from here. The what Pat Dye had talked about so many years ago.
Well, he was talking about the Houston Cougars. I don't know if Auburn had played them that year or whatever, but he was talking. Their defensive numbers weren't very good, and somebody was talking about trying to come up with reasons why their defense wasn't that good. And Pat Dye said Houston's never going to have a good they're never going to have a great defense because they run the run and shoot offense, and they practice against finesse offense. To have a great defense, you have to practice against a physical offense, or your defense will not be prepared for a physical game.
And I will have to agree with that one. I will have to agree.
And then and we're both Alabama fans here, sitting here, and we're kind of also thinking that Alabama's probably suffered the same thing this season because we have not
and LSU
seen
too.
We haven't seen the same dynamic defense that we are kind of have come to expect as Alabama fans.
It's been kind of inching down as the offense has gotten better and more pass happy. The defense is kind of notched down each year, it seems like.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, the last 2 years, and I'm critical on Alabama no matter what. I mean, I'd have to agree with Saban. The process starts once you sign. When you're there, you're expected to be up to the highest, utmost qualities there. And I think what has gone on is they're so used to Tua and so used to the wide receivers getting open and making plays that defenses really hasn't had very much time to get out there on that field and do what they normally do. Now, this last game, mind you, it was a team that doesn't really play much with big-time games, the Catamounts. But at the same time, when you have 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, 1 returned from two of Alabama's DBs, where has that been all season long?
Well, again, this is against Western Carolina.
It was with Western Carolina the whole time.
Yeah, let's not start sucking each other's dicks just yet. I mean, we'd have probably done slightly better against, I don't know, maybe Hoover High School. Yeah.
No, Hoover's pretty good. Though.
Hoover's good. Yeah, Hoover won't they won't turn the ball over. But Rush isn't there anymore. Rush hadn't been there a long time.
No.
And I'm going to say right now, Georgia does beyond a shadow of a doubt, does not deserve that number 4 ranking. Mind you, they played against some quality teams.
Well, let me go ahead and break that down for you real quick. The only reason they have that number 4 ranking is a little bit of sexiness going into the big matchup over in Atlanta. It definitely looks a lot sexier 2 versus 4 than it does 2 versus 5. It really hammers home the point that the winner of that game is guaranteed a playoff spot, and the loser is definitely going to fall out of the top 4. So I mean, and again, Alabama's not very comfortable with that number 5 spot either if Utah keeps winning. I don't see a scenario where Oklahoma winning out and then winning the Big 12 championship is going to supersede Utah this year. I don't know. And really, USC, if you look at the teams that both of them lost to, Utah against USC and Oklahoma versus Kansas State, both of those teams that they lost to look kind of similar.
What do you think Bama has to do with Utah and Oklahoma winning out to do this? They got to beat the shit out of Auburn, don't they?
They do.
They got to.
With Mac Jones under center, Mac Jones is going to have to stay in a majority of the game, and it's going to have to be a very extremely convincing win.
What were you saying, Justin?
I'm going to have to agree. Mac Jones is going to have to show his stuff against Auburn, because Auburn, at the start of the year, before all this mayhem and everything started, they were supposed to have one of the top 5 defenses in the nation. They were supposed to have one of the top 5 defenses in the nation. Mind you, they've held into some of these games, but like I said, vice versa. Defenses can win you the games, but what about the offense in their situation? Are you fellas?
That Knicks boy.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, that young Knicks boy. That I don't really know how to feel about him against better defenses. He is.
I think that Alabama could play a bad game, and I think Knicks would figure out how to lose the game for Auburn.
Probably. But, I mean, that has a lot more to do with youth and inexperience. I'm not calling Knicks a bad quarterback just yet. He's not the savior.
I thought his name was Picks. Everybody calls him Bo Picks.
Bo Picks.
Yeah, I like that, too.
I just hate the fact that there's another Bo down there in Auburn. That's unsettling. It can be sometimes.
We got a Bo.
Yeah.
No, sorry, he's gone.
We had a Bo.
Bo Scarborough.
Yeah.
So what do you think's got to happen for Alabama to get in this? You said they've got to beat Auburn. Do you see a situation where Utah or Oklahoma jumps Alabama? Justin?
I would possibly. I wouldn't really think of that situation in that way. The reason why I say it, and I've said it all year long, Alabama brings money, and money talks in the CFP. The more money
TV
you
ratings.
bring, what's that?
People want to see Alabama lose. They want to see them. The Bama fans want to see them win. The haters, which there are a lot of, want to see them lose. They bring TV ratings.
And they do, and I think that's one of the major issues and key points with the CFP is they bring money. Whether we win or lose, we bring money to the table. I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going. If you keep Nick Saban out of the playoffs, you probably lost a lot of money right then and there.
Yeah,
and I think it's more of a ratings this year. And yes, I've noticed this year with the CFP that they have clamped down on a lot of things that they let go past in previous years.
Is it harder to sell Aflac commercials with Nick Saban in them during an Alabama game or during another game that's not an Alabama game? Discuss.
I'd say without the Alabama game. I'd say with him in the Alabama games and the Aflac commercial going on, I think he sells more Aflac. Sells more with Aflac.
I think so too. I think I'm going to get some Aflac at the beginning of the year. I don't even know what it does or what it is, but it's got that duck and it's got Nick Saban and all that fucking hardware, and that's what I want in my household. Those are the products that I want. I want the products that exude the same success that the process brings Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
And here's what's even crazier about the whole entire situation is if people look more back into the football history, I was reading where Coach Bill Belichick and Nick Saban actually were coaching together in the Cleveland Browns era when they was coaching together. So with that being said, you've got two of the greatest coaches in the world that can relay messages to each other. And I guarantee you money that they probably talk to each other on a day-to-day basis on what to do and not to do.
Here's a very strange thing, though. I didn't know that. I just now, because I haven't really kept up with the total team numbers for a while, but I just pulled up, just while we're sitting there chatting, pulled up the stats for on NCAA.com, the current total defense. This is basically just the all of the defensive stats altogether. Right now, currently, Auburn is ranked number 14. Alabama is ranked 16. So Alabama's defense is not, even though we're not
they're kind of a bend, but
the lights-out defense that we're usually used to, we're still fielding a top 20 defense nationally. So, there's that. However, my UAB Blazers are number 6.
You got a prediction on the game, Justin, before we head to the next segment?
I say Alabama wins it. I want to say 28-7. 28-7.
Wow, man, that would. I think that might get them in. That may get Alabama in 28-7.
I think so.
All right.
Playing at Jordan-Hare, absolutely. I think 28-14 is still, as long as Alabama proves a consistent, dominant performance and doesn't have to somehow squeak by and you know what I'm saying, and score a bunch of touchdowns in a bizarre ending that we're used to in Iron Bowls past.
Yep. So. All right, Justin, we appreciate it, and
good.
we look forward to talking to you here in the future.
Sounds good, y'all. Have a great night, fellas.
Later, homie.
All right.
Later.
All right, well, that was a discussion right there.
It was.
Let's see here. What do we got coming up next?
We got this coming up next. Hold on.
Now, we had actually reached out to Eric Easterwood to join us in this conversation. Eric is eating dinner with his lovely wife at the moment, so now I'm gonna try him here in a minute, and we may add him to the chat if we can somehow, someway.
Hello.
What up?
What's up?
What's going on?
Dude, none.
Yeah, just go ahead and start that again. Let that play again. Yeah. What did you do? What button did you hit to make that happen?
It was tricky, but only the best can pull that shit off.
Excellent. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, guys, we're joined with Gabriel Griffin and Jerry Looney, and we're going to talk the biggest fucking game.
We're going to talk about
we're
going to talk about no air conditioning in the locker room. We're going to talk about no hot water in the showers. We're talking about playing some football at Jordan-Hare between the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide and the mother folks.
Are they so mighty now with the backup QB?
We don't know.
I don't know yet.
Mac-10.
They still beat Western Carolina by the number they were supposed to beat them at.
Yeah. They are a mighty good FCS team.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, there wasn't any drop-off. So
I mean,
it's a start.
Right. Of course, Auburn looked good against Samford as well. So.
I mean, I'm not wringing my hands in dismay over this. I absolutely hate that Tua can't finish the season and get some hardware
what was
to take
Saban thinking? You're up 35.
Man, shut the fuck up. We already talked about all that. We're talking about
we covered all this.
Yeah, it's back. It's the Mac attack now. It's all about the Mac attack.
Mac-10. That's what it is, Mac-10.
The Mac-10. Mac-11. My dad used to have a Mac-11. I think he still got it.
Man, I should have a freaking Mac tonight.
I'm dead serious. He had a Mac-11, and he sold a buddy of his, Sid Smyer. You remember Sid?
Sid?
Yeah.
You remember Mac Tonight? From the McDonald's commercials?
Yeah,
the guy with the big moon head?
Yeah.
Yeah. These fellas probably don't remember
It's Mac Tonight. Yeah.
These fellas don't
which
remember
he ripped
that
off
shit.
Mac the Knife, which was Sam Pilato's favorite karaoke
They
jam.
sure as hell won't remember that.
You remember Sam Pilato doing Mac the Knife?
I don't remember what I did yesterday.
Did a great version of it.
So you sure as hell don't remember the 1980s. It's all blurred to you, isn't it?
Yeah. I was sure alive by then.
All right, guys, let's talk about this game. This would be Auburn's got a great defense. If Auburn would have pulled off the win against Georgia, this game would have been through the stratosphere.
Or fucking LSU. I mean, seriously, guys.
It's just that we can't do the fucking bare minimum. The bare minimum. I mean, we scored 4 touchdowns. We're undefeated.
It's that simple. 4 touchdowns. We can't even do that. It's just Malzahn is a complete, utter moron.
So
I second that.
Now he'll be Arkansas's moron before too long. So you're almost rid of him.
I
Come on
mean,
now.
I hope to God that
Come on, be
Arkansas
hopeful.
gets him. That would definitely help out our finances and getting a new coach. So they can have that problem. They can have that. They can go to the Birmingham Bowl, and I'm sure they would love that. Arkansas was like complete wreck.
As a guy that works in the construction industry, Jimmy Raines has been selling a shitload of lumber, so I'm sure that he can easily afford that buyout. We wish you.
Well, they also got Jerry Jones, so I mean, I'm sure they can afford that.
I mean,
Yeah, they do.
what
He's an alumnus.
Arkansas needs to be smart about this, and they need to like go ahead and not really officially hire Gus Malzahn, put him in one of those like Butch Jones is for Nick Saban, and put him in one of those situations to where he can still get his buyout money and he only makes like $20,000 a year. And then, and then get Arkansas to the point where they're winning, like like Auburn is, like winning 7 and 8 games a year, and then go ahead and announce his big contract.
He ain't gonna wash a car like Bujo though.
No, Bujo makes that motherfucker shine.
He
boy.
does.
Brick by brick. All right. Well, so anyways,
man, here's the most interesting thing. Just first question I would love to ask Gabriel: what does Auburn got to do to win this game?
Really, I just think that their receivers is going to make enough plays, and Mac Jones, all he has to do is the bare minimum, and I'm sure Nick Saban is going to ensure that he does just the bare minimum. I'm not really afraid of their running game. I don't think Najee Harris has been running like,
really?
I don't know, he isn't as good as advertised.
He's looked really good in the last few games.
Going
back to
run
LSU
defense is stout. Our front seven is.
He's also another great target.
They're going to make. Kevin Steele is going to make Matt Jones beat them, man. I mean, their receivers, they're good enough to beat you. They can turn a 5-yard slant route into an 80-yard touchdown. That's unheard of, But I mean, we did shut down LSU receivers, but Bama receivers is much better than LSU's.
What do you need? What do you need? Turnovers?
Yeah, we're going to need to freak Matt Jones out, and we're going to need the crowd loud. We're going to need to force turnovers, and I say we're going to need about 3 turnovers and 4 touchdowns. So
does Auburn plan on dousing any of the Alabama fans with fire hoses during this game? That's happened. That has happened.
Not the Alabama fans.
No, not the Alabama. Let me tell my thing. All right?
Okay.
I haven't heard that, but I mean,
Georgia.
Georgia. We will post up the motherfucking
we
YouTube
deserve
link
to
of
do
it.
something to y'all to what y'all have done to us in past years.
What do we do?
Especially going through Legion Field and Harvey Updike.
Man, shut the fuck up about them goddamn trees.
Harvey Updike has no affiliation with Smacking Off the Podcast or the University.
But you know what?
I'm really
While we're on the
surprised
motherfucking
y'all
subject,
have not
though,
put him on the podcast.
I did the math the other day, and I found
He
out.
did.
I did the math, and I actually did this in a thread.
Has he contacted you about coming on the show?
I hadn't. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's still a negotiation.
If you're coming on with him, we will do it.
Yes.
Oh yes, I will more than.
Man, Eric
he's actually contacted me on Facebook and cussed me out. I will screenshot this and show y'all this.
Are you talking about Tommy Tuberville, or are you talking about Harvey Updike?
No, Harvey Updike.
Tommy Tuberville has a lot more reasons to be upset with you.
He knows who you are now.
Yeah, Tubby's running for Senate here in Alabama. I think you need to pop.
Hope they don't win.
You need to pop up at one of those press conferences and start grilling him hard about his old lady.
I actually contacted Tommy Tuberville for Senate. I asked for a sign. I wanted to see what he would say.
You better leave that man alone. He's gonna fucking kill you. I'm serious. If he ever catches the audio of that first appearance you made on the show, you're dead, man. I'm serious.
I'm gonna run that live again.
Hey, and if he becomes a senator in Alabama, the things he can do to Gabriel that we'll never find out about. It's just amazing.
Me and you need to.
I'm gonna end up like that girl that went missing.
Oh man, that fucking sucked, dude.
Shannon,
yeah, I heard about
that's
that.
terrible.
Yeah.
Shannon, me and you need to get together and.
Did they confirm? Because they had actually found the remains.
Yeah, the remains in Macon County.
So
how does your body decompose that fast?
Well,
acid, my man.
That may not have been that may have been a something was done to speed up the decomposition.
I mean, unless they poured like a shit ton of maggots on her.
Well, I don't know. It really depends on where you're at and what and the weather and all that other stuff. I don't even want to suppose about that. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. And I'm glad they caught the son of a bitch that had.
Yeah, I think. I think you're right about Tommy Tuberville has a lot more beef with me than Harvey Updike.
Yeah, and Tommy Tuberville is he's gonna find your ass. That's all I'm saying about it. You're not hard to find. We found you. If we found you, I know he can.
All Updike's gonna do is take some trees out. That's it.
Look, I did the math the other day. Okay, Harvey Updike, he killed what? 2 trees?
I think it's like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
2 or 3. Okay, we'll just say 3. All right.
All right.
All right. It takes.
But it's not. It's a national landmark. That's what made it a federal offense.
It's not no fucking national. I've been down those fucking trees. It's the same fucking beat out trees that you see in any little podunk down in Alabama. Anyways, let me.
Oh, come on, they're good oak trees.
Anyway,
you can build with oak trees.
You can't. You take. What is it? It takes. One tree makes 1,500 rolls of toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
One tree.
Yep.
You kill the tree and then you process it and you make 1,500 rolls of toilet paper. All right.
And
The toilet paper has a purpose and a use, even though it's distasteful and we don't want to think about it. But
How many?
All right, who eats toilet paper? Why are you gonna say it's distasteful?
Just bear with me, Gabriel. I'm gonna make my point here in a minute. This is Smacking Off the Podcast featuring Shannon Madden. You're a guest here. All right. You're in my house, bitch. All right. So takes 1,500.
Hey, at least I'm a rude guest.
1,500 rolls to make one tree. All right. How many rolls do you think when in the off chance that Auburn wins their 5, 6, 7 times a year?
I mean, they've been doing it since I think 72.
How many rolls in one outing? How many people are out there throwing a roll of toilet paper? Just take a wild guess. You've been out there. You know what's up.
I'm gonna say at least 10,000.
10,000? Oh shit, that's more than I even estimated in my thing. I need to go back and redo my math.
How many trees did you save, Shannon?
Well,
I mean, depends on the wind though. Like when I went out there for the 2013 Georgia game, the tip pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm sure it was at least 15,000.
Yeah, but if they're beating but
it's like if we beat Sanford.
Y'all beat Sanford, like
1,000.
5 people went out there. Okay.
Yeah,
So on average, so let's say on an average year, how many rolls of toilet paper are thrown at the trees at Toomer's Corner? The ones that Harvey Updike killed and y'all replaced?
12,000.
12,000?
Yeah.
So that right there, if we do the math.
We get about 8 wins a season. You average about 1,000 people.
So we do the math. We're looking at 10, 11 trees worth of toilet paper wasted on those little sad ass oak trees. All right. So if Harvey Updike,
he's the biggest climate.
If Harvey Updike had been successful, he would have saved by now. I mean, just in the short time, he would have saved how many trees, Doug? God, what? 100 trees or so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He saved 100 trees, and y'all are finding that motherfucker $750,000 in those sad ass oak trees that cash value ain't worth about $3,000 a piece, and that's just for the wood. Jimmy Raines probably got that figured out right out of the gate. So I mean, fuck all this Harvey Updike bullshit. Fuck all y'all's bleeding hearts about we poor trees and this that. Y'all don't give a fuck about trees. You know it. Y'all kill 11 trees a year. After Malzahn leaves, it's going to go back down to about 4 or 5 trees a year.
Jerry, are you still there?
Oh, Gabriel, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't know if you were aware of this, Gabriel, but we're 2 Alabama fans that run the show. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I've been to that.
Yeah. Okay. As long as
the way y'all don't hide the bias.
Nah.
You're kind of like Paul Feinbaum.
No. Whoa! You back that shit up, motherfucker. We are completely 100% unbiased on this show. Roll Tide.
Yeah.
You said Roll Tide right at the end of the sentence.
Well, I mean, it just kind of came out.
Like an exclamation
Yeah,
point.
it just kind of came out.
I mean, okay. If you're gonna say I'm unbiased, then
you've seen the ESPN commercial.
Right?
That's how we do
I'm
it.
unbiased. Roll Tide.
I skeep my old lady's eye and I say Roll Tide afterwards. It's just a thing. It's a thing.
I seen a guy get arrested on film.
No, I don't skeep my old lady's eye. She'll get mad at me if I do that.
Jerry.
Infection.
What does Auburn got to? I'm sorry. What does Alabama got to do to win this game?
I think the running game is going to be key because this would be Mac Jones' first true tests against an actual defense. And
man, you sound familiar to me, Jerry.
Huh?
You sound a little familiar to me. We had a guest on the show recently that sounded like you. I can't remember who it is. You know who I'm talking about, Shannon? I can't remember.
I wasn't there.
We had we had a Georgia guy on. Remember?
No, I was that show I missed. Remember?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jerry.
We had Landon Beeman come in for us. Hashtag fake profiles. Hashtag RP Landon.
He's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, where's my fellow Auburn man at? Where's Eric at?
Eric is eating.
Eric is eating with his lovely wife. They're having dinner together.
Is he eating with his wives or is he eating with his sister wives?
I mean, I don't know. We've had Ashton's an Alabama fan, so I gotta sidestep that one, Jerry. You fucking with our people on that now. Come on.
Well, back to what I was saying.
Back up. Najee. I need you to also say something nice about Harvey Updike too, because you are an Alabama fan.
All right, here we go. Harvey Updike did the right thing by killing those trees.
I mean, he saved a bunch of trees right out of the gate.
Yeah, and anybody can see it. I mean,
and y'all are still continuing to find that motherfucker. That's and he's on disability now. He could die at any moment. Y'all don't give a fuck. You just want your money for them little sad ass trees.
Yeah, I need to start a GoFundMe for him.
I don't think you can. And that's the shitty part about GoFundMe, is GoFundMe will not allow you to like put up money for somebody's because if that were really true, if GoFundMe were really cool like that, then we would have raised $750,000 in like 2 or 3 days. We could have you put Bobby Wesson on that. Bobby Wesson could raise. Bobby Wesson could raise some money.
Go donate their mullet.
Donate their mullet.
Yeah.
How much is mullets going for?
They don't work.
They'll
like
stop
that.
drinking for one day and spend the Natty Light money on their GoFundMe.
Yeah, exactly. And the mullet. How much are mullets going for in the black market?
Hell, just in Tuscaloosa County alone, you'd raise $750,000.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jerry. Jerry, tell us about Najee and what he's going to do. Because
not shit.
Get up in that ass.
That's what's going to happen.
Get up in that ass.
That's what Gabriel already said.
He might.
I'm going to be blunt right here.
Go ahead and be blunt.
Over under at 50 yards, and I'm going to go under.
Jerry Looney's got a blunt.
All right, so I think Najee's going to rush for 150 and 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, right.
I like that. That sounds like a win to me.
I feel better already.
That sounds like a win to me. I feel good about that.
If he does that, Bama's going to beat us by 49.
I'm hard.
Bama will do what?
If Najee does that, then Bama's going to beat us 49-0.
49-0. That sounds so 2012 to me.
Oh yeah, that's that game. Little 13-year-old kid seeing his team get mutilated. Right.
I got news for you. This Auburn team ain't nothing like that Auburn team. This Auburn team.
I mean, that Auburn team also went to the national championship.
This Auburn team.
Year.
Yeah, you're right. This Auburn team can win this game. I mean, I'm just telling you, they can.
And Auburn has the best, and I'm not being biased at all. They had the best roster in the NCAA, but it's just our coach is so pitiful that he can't put the right.
The best roster.
Bo
Nix.
You ain't counting. You're not counting
Bo
Nix.
Nix isn't that bad. It's just that he's not being used correctly. You get Nick Saban this team. Nick Saban's won the national championship.
Do you think that now? You really honestly think that Nick Saban could get a little bit more out of Bo Nix? You really think that?
Yes.
Do you think it's? Do you think it's the receivers?
He took Blake Sims and took him to the national championship.
Do you think it's the receivers? Because now, bear in mind, I've watched Nick throw on a couple games, and he looked like a young kid trying to figure it out.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
he took 2 backup QBs to a national championship. I mean, it was more Lane Kiffin and his daughter. But
I mean, Malzahn's been building teams around, pretty capable quarterbacks for a while. You would figure that he'd have a pretty decent receiver core.
Well,
I mean, we got good receivers. It's just they're not really they don't have the size.
Well, let's
get more just like speedy guys.
Let's get a prediction.
I got another interesting tidbit real quick. I got 2 receivers, 6 receptions, 150 yards apiece. Then we'll say a touchdown and a half apiece.
You really think that Bama's going to put up 500 yards of offense on Auburn's defense?
I do believe so, because Auburn doesn't really care to this game.
I mean, they're going to care. It's just I don't see Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson going balls to the wall like they have been. But I mean, Alabama's offensive line has been suspect all year. I mean, they let Tua break his hip.
They let Tua breeze.
I don't think that's. I wouldn't blame it on the offensive line.
No, I'm not actually. I
Because
mean, there's just a bunch of people fell on top of it. It was, this really pisses me off about why they're, because we've already gone through a conversation during this show, and it's not the only conversation we've had about it, about Saban even putting Tua in, and I think I've explained my thought on that ad nauseum.
Why did Saban even let Tua play in LSU?
Yeah, well, okay, whatever. So we've talked about all of that. We've talked about all of the. The coaching decisions and players' decisions and everybody else's fault that Tua broke his hip. How about the motherfucker just got caught in a weird position and some people fell on him? That's because that's exactly what fucking happened.
Exactly.
So what?
I mean, that's what happened to Bo Jackson.
He did, and
the exact same injury.
Well, but we also have much better medical technology than we did then. Actually, if we had the same technology that we have now, Bo would have still been playing the following year.
Yeah.
So.
50 years old, still running over kids.
Maybe. He's a big dude, man. You ever stood next to Bo Jackson?
Yeah, I have. I've met him before, but you know that he could pull a bow back with his foot.
That motherfucker. He probably pull a bow back with his teeth. I mean, he is just solid muscle. And he's kind of gotten a little older and put on a little bit of weight, but man, that dude is still stacked. I would never say anything disrespectful in front of Bo Jackson ever, because he would fold me in half. So.
Well, guys, let's get predictions out of both of you guys.
I went to the same high school as Bo Jackson, McAdory High.
That's true.
Go Jackets.
Me, it's going to be 24-20.
24-20 Auburn?
No, Bama.
24-20 Bama.
Okay, so you feel like Auburn's going to have a shot to win? I definitely agree.
Yeah, I think they're going to be thrown in the end zone, just like the LSU, the Florida, every other game, and Miles on the lights.
Gabriel, you are the worst Auburn fan ever, and I really love you. I really love you for that. I really did. No, I mean, yeah, no fandom whatsoever, and even look, even what little bit of fandom he could display, he just fuck that shit.
Gotta be real with you. So there's no. I don't see
fuck
Gus changing his
Malzahn,
ways
fuck Tuberville,
today.
fuck this
I don't
game.
see him changing his ways ever. He's going to run the same stubborn shit every game. He's never going to change his offense. He's never going to change his philosophy. That's just him.
Right.
I mean, that sounds just like a high school coach. He's not going to change his quarterback. He's not going to change anything.
He's fixing to change his job though. He's going to get that job at Arkansas. They're going to figure out a way for that to happen. That's coming together.
Honestly, I think here's a bold prediction from me. I think Lane Kiffin will be the new head coach of Arkansas.
Wow,
Jerry, I'm gonna do you one better, because I actually think that Malzahn's gonna go ahead and head to Arkansas, and I think Kiffin's gonna go to Auburn.
Oh,
If you don't think for a second.
Bring Saban's
if this were
Kiffin,
anybody else, and anybody else knows that's ever been with either Alabama or Auburn programs, knows that you just don't cross that line. Now, you might be able to go work as an assistant or this, that, and the other, but you can't go and become a head coach. And I think Pat Dye was really the first one that really kind of stepped away from that, because he was a Bears assistant.
Jerry, we're up against the clock. Go ahead and give us a prediction before we go.
Let's do it.
All right, 100% non-biased. I'm going to go 42-21.
42-21 Auburn?
Bama.
I don't see Bama scoring that many points.
You'd be amazed. One slip up on defense and you're already down.
I mean, yeah, if Bama knocks us dead early, yeah, I can see it, but I just don't see them. I see Saban being very, very conservative, and I see them playing the field position game with. And I know that Saban knows that he has the offense to beat out Auburn at a bare minimum. That's why I see it being kind of low scoring.
Kind of an old school Saban game.
Yeah. I mean, I see him doing that.
Well, guys, y'all have a good Iron Bowl and a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Safe travels, y'all.
Right,
y'all take it easy. Roll Tide.
War Eagle.
Fuck your team.
Have you tried Wheaties? They're whole wheat with all of the brands. Won't you try Wheaties? For wheat is the best food of man. They're crispy and crunchy the whole year through. The kiddies never tire of them, and neither will you. So just buy Wheaties, the best breakfast food in the land.
You are now listening to Smacking Off the Podcast. Like and comment on our damn videos. Subscribe to our fucking channel. I really hate you dumb fuckers need to be told that. You should have already subscribed. Jesus fucking Christ.
Smacking Off invites you to join us on the podcast. If you have an opinion on an upcoming game, some commentary on your conference, or want to roll with one of your fellow smackers on air, hit us up. You can message us at the Smacking Off or X's and O's Facebook pages, email me at maddenshannon@toothfairy.com, or call us on the Smack line, 304-508-BAIT. And as always, fuck your team. Welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden, joined with Doug Phillips. And we are joined with one Mackenzie Brooks. What's up, homie? We hadn't had you on in forever.
No, oh my God. All I do is, like I said, work and train and trying to finish this damn minor.
So what are you minoring?
I'm actually minoring in athletic weight and nutrition.
Okay, so it's not like a minor like a person under 18, right?
Nah.
Okay, good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
All right, we're going to pick on some games tonight.
Excellent.
This is Mac's first guest pick segment. And what you're up against is we've got what they call a 9-1 club. Nobody's gone 10-0. This is going to be difficult though because this is rivalry weekend, so and you know how that shit goes.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
so we're gonna start with the ye old Egg Bowl.
Yes, that's Thursday.
Ole Miss at Mississippi State.
Thanksgiving. You can watch that while you're eating your turkey.
All them cowbells, yeah.
Ooh, Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Oh,
this is right out of the gate. This is a shitty game to pick because it really is.
This is a terrible game. Oh gosh.
I always throw terrible games in there.
Because Ole Miss has actually got somewhat of an offense, and Mississippi State has so much of a defense, but they're both, really mediocre in a lot of different spots. So this is a tough one to call. It really is.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna take Ole Miss by 10.
Right.
You know what? That's not a bad pick. Ole Miss has really looked, even though they've only got 4 wins, they've really looked solid. I mean, they've scored 38 on LSU. They took Auburn to the brink. So.
They scored a little bit on Alabama. We caught some flack as Alabama fans. We caught a little flack over
31. There. Okay, I probably should have put this as the last game, but it's a Friday game. Your Iowa Hawkeyes are going to the cornfields of Nebraska.
Oh God, I hate everything about this damn game.
This is the battle of the children of the corn, right?
It is. This is the American Heroes Trophy, and we currently have Nebraska's number for the past about to be 4 years, and obviously I'm taking my Hawkeyes, but it's going to be by 3, just like it was last year and year before that and year before that.
We'll start calling that the Corn Bowl.
The battle for the Apple Cup up in the northwestern United States. The Washington State Cougars are going to Washington.
This is the Apple Bowl.
Yeah.
The Apple Bowl.
The Apple Cup.
Yeah.
Washington, I've been following them a little bit this year, and once they get hot, they're really hard to beat, like mentally and physically.
Right.
So I'm going to have to take the Huskies by 7.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. Now, this is your group of 5 game of the day.
This is going to be a big game.
It really
Very
is.
big game.
The Cincinnati Bearcats are going to the Memphis Tigers.
This will be the kidnapping charge bowl.
Oh shit.
Yeah. you ever been to Memphis? Holy shit, man. Them
That is
folks there
funny.
ain't playing. They ain't playing worth a damn.
Not at all. Let's see. I'm gonna take Memphis by 7.
Memphis.
Yeah,
at home.
that's at home too.
That's a
yeah.
solid pick.
Yeah,
Memphis
that's a
at home.
solid pick because if Cincinnati wins that game, they're not going to be able to make it out of Memphis alive.
Arguably the game of the day, starting your Saturday off at for us is 11 a.m. kick. I guess that would be 11 a.m. for you as well, Mac. The Ohio State Buckeyes are traveling to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to play the Michigan Wolverines.
Yikes!
Yeah, and even when Iowa played Michigan, we held them to 10 points. I mean, and we only got a field goal on them. I don't even want to talk about that mocker freaking ass game. But Ohio State has literally been unstoppable, and I don't see Michigan having any kind of miraculous season game turnaround
I
to
don't
beat
know. Michigan's
Justin
been playing a
Fields.
whole lot better on offense lately.
They have, but Shea Patterson sucks under pressure. Everybody knows
True.
that.
Yeah.
Even people in the SEC know that. That's why he came
Oh
up here.
yeah. We
to
got a
the Big Ten.
good healthy look at
Ohio
that.
State's
while he
got
was
a
here.
really good looking defense too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I'm taking Ohio State by 2 touchdowns.
All right.
Sweet.
Clemson at South Carolina, the Gamecocks.
The trap game for Clemson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know now. Georgia fans are shaking their head, not saying a word right now. So.
Look, any team.
Oh,
that
they should be. Not
Yeah,
saying
they
a
should.
word.
That was an embarrassing loss. That really was.
I mean,
This is a horrible South Carolina team.
What was the indicator that Clemson could possibly even lose to South Carolina? The fact that they beat North Carolina by 1 point.
Maybe.
That was a long time ago.
That was the Carolina Bowl.
Yeah.
That was
This
middle.
is a
That was the
different
middle of the
Carolina.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a bitter
taking
rivalry.
Clemson.
There's really,
Taking Clemson by 10.
if you have any friends in South Carolina, you know this is an extremely bitter rivalry, and Clemson's recent success has only made the rivalry that much more bitter.
Mm-hmm. Clemson by 10. She says, "Okay, I'm really looking forward to this one because I know who you're going to pick already, and I'm ready to hear it."
Okay.
The number 5 Alabama Crimson Tide is going to Jordan Hare Stadium. Sorry, Jordan Hare Stadium. Jordan Hare Stadium.
Or that big ass TV they got.
Yes, sir. Number 15 Auburn.
This is going to shock everybody, to be honest. Unfortunately, I have to take the freaking Alabama Crimson.
Roll Tide!
Oh, God. That pains me to say.
Yeah, we got to get a better
I
applause for
gotta
that.
take y'all by 10.
All right.
By 10, she says.
This is an interesting game because, let's face it, LSU does not have the defense that Georgia has.
But Georgia doesn't have the offense that LSU has.
No, that's true.
True.
That's true. But
Not too many teams in the country do. I don't think any of them do.
Is LSU going to shut Texas A&M down? I don't know. That's styles make games. You never know. A&M's liable to hang with LSU. I don't see them beating them, but I could definitely see them putting up some points. I mean, this is a team that gave up 400 yards on the ground to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about LSU.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
A&M's better than Ole Miss.
They're better than
That
Ole
is
Miss.
true.
They're still at Baton Rouge. So.
They are.
I mean,
Ooh, that's in Death Valley.
Yep.
Mm.
Well, hold on now. The Clemson. No, that's right. Clemson's got a Death Valley as well. Wouldn't it be interesting if Clemson came into the SEC? Who would be the real Death Valley?
I mean, I guess LSU's in a bigger valley because they're like the lower part of the sea level. I think we can add sea level into this.
Sea level, yeah, especially with the next hurricane and that motherfucker.
That's why everybody's
fills
buried
up with water.
Everybody's buried in mausoleums down there because you can't bury the bodies. You can't bury the bodies.
I love that word, mausoleum.
Mausoleum, yeah,
that's a cool word.
It really is.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and predict that you're taking LSU, the home.
I am.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Whiskey at Minnesota for the Paul Bunyan Axe.
What is Minnesota?
This is the game I've been having issues with as far as the Big Ten, because Wisconsin lost to Illinois of all fucking teams.
They did.
And Minnesota lost to my Hawkeyes, which was to be expected because you don't just come into King Stadium thinking you're going to pull one over them.
Especially, especially a highly ranked team like that.
Yeah, and the Hawkeyes are a better team than
that is
Illinois.
true.
They are.
And actually last year we we dog walked the shit out of Illinois, and they did not let us forget that this season. We only beat them by 9 this year. I mean, we still won, but it wasn't no 63-0.
Yeah.
With that being said, I also don't see anybody stopping Jonathan Taylor if he gets hot. If he gets hot, it's going to be a fucking dog walking by Wisconsin. But on the flip side, with Tanner Morgan and Tyler Johnson over there in Minnesota, they're also a hot combination. But I still got to go with the Badgers. It'll be by 6.
Okay, close game there.
All right, so hey, she likes the Badgers to play to have a rematch with Ohio State in the big championship game. All right, Oklahoma at Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State was ranked.
Oklahoma Junior and Oklahoma Senior.
Oklahoma Light, yeah.
Oklahoma Okie Light.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm a closet Boomer Sooner. Actually, it's not really closet.
Not anymore.
Wait a minute. I was actually making funny little names for all of this. What would this be? Oklahoma State. That would be Horsefucker Ball. All right, go ahead.
That's great. Oh, the covered wagon ball. Yeah,
no, I like Horsefucker Ball. Really rolls off the tongue. Say it a few times. You'll love it. Yeah.
I'm going to take the Boomer Sooners, and it's going to be by at least 15. Oh. I don't see Okie Light hanging with the Sooners at all.
All right. You may have just completed a 10-0 run. We don't know this yet. We're going to start to learn a little bit as the week goes on, aren't we?
Yeah, this is the one time during college football season that I actually get really excited for football, because there's literally football Thursday, Friday, and Saturday instead of just Friday and Saturday.
Bedlam is really not. Bedlam is really not that sexy of a name. Horsefucker Ball really needs to kind of get incorporated.
A lot of people don't realize this. People think, because they remember a couple times that Oklahoma State has pulled this game off.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State has yet to crack 20 wins in this series.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is 2 wins away from 90 wins in this series.
That's
It is
insane.
a lopsided.
That's insane.
Oh God, it's not a rivalry.
Yeah.
Not even close.
No.
Holy cow.
All right, Mac. You know who we got coming up next? The only person that could follow you.
God.
President Pike. A drunken President
Lord.
Pike.
I think it's fitting to have the First Lady on and then President Pike. It fits. It goes together.
It does.
It does. Of course, we can't mention President Pike and the First Lady without also bringing up hashtag fake profiles Landon Beeman, whose father apparently shot him in the head. We think.
Man, his father's got some mental problems.
Well, I mean, he does now because he shot his son in the head. I don't think it was intentional.
You don't think that
they was hunting for some food?
Is there any chance that this is fake? Because Pike has faked this kind of shit before.
No, he does not. Pike has never faked anything online ever. You
He's
fucking
faked his
asshole.
own death.
All right, well.
I don't know. I'm betting that Landon's still alive. I really am.
I feel like Landon's taking a hiatus or a vacation of some sort without actually coming back.
Maybe.
No, he's coming back.
He's coming back? You think so?
Yeah, he's got to. If he's still alive. If he really didn't get shot in the head.
Easter Sunday, he's coming back.
He's going to rise.
Yeah, just like that's what Pike did, remember?
He did.
And he came back on Easter too, wasn't it?
He did.
Yep.
It was beautiful.
That is a fact.
Yep. All right, Mac. We got to have you on more.
We really do. This is.
I know. My schedule's finally clearing up, and I can start doing longer segments on both my podcasts again. So I'm excited.
Excellent.
All right, we'll let you get to your other podcast, and we'll get with the Drunken Pike.
All right, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.
Mackenzie Brooks, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you irritated with something we said on the podcast? Well then fuck you. Call the Smack line and tell us all about it at 304-508-BAIT. Don't be a pussy fuck boy. Call the Smack line today. Messages left on our Smack line will be used at the end of Smacking Off the podcast episodes.
#FamilySmack. The worst smack group ever. Look for us on Facebook and on MeWe.
Welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden, joined with Doug Phillips, and we are joined with one Mr. President, Justin Pike. What is up, homie?
What is going on?
Shit, living the dream, baby. How you doing?
Good. I had a very interesting weekend.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, so I've gambled. I lost $735 sports gambling this weekend. Saturday and Sunday. I took Ohio State -10 in the second half where they did not cover. Penn State made a run back at them. And then I had a horrendous NFL Sunday. I took the Redskins on the money line. I laid what was it, 400 to win 200. I lost. Long story short, I lost $735.
Ouch.
So what do you do? What do you do when something like that happens?
You borrow some money from your grandma and you flip a brick.
And then you take Ole Miss.
No.
You take Ole Miss to win.
200 out of the ATM, and you head on down to the MGM casino.
Yes.
I played blackjack. Walked out with 1,600 last night.
Man, I went years ago. I went and visited a buddy of mine up in Seattle, and we got really intensely drunk the whole entire time up there. And he took me to a casino, and it's the first time I'd ever been to a casino in my life. And I went and played. No, I take that back. It was the second time I'd ever been to a casino in my life. The first time I actually hit playing 3-card poker, and I hit a royal flush. And
wow!
Yeah, so it was like, so I go to this casino up there, and I'm playing blackjack, and I got really, really hot. I don't even remember playing with this guy. I only have brief flashes, but I walked out of there and I'd won almost $2,000.
Right,
so I actually went back the next night and actually kind of went in a little bit more sober, and I promptly lost $1,500 of it in 30 minutes.
Ooh.
And I was only doing I think $25 bets or something like that. And man, they ate that shit up, buddy.
Yeah, I got hot. That table I was on last night, I was betting 50, 75 a hand, and all of a sudden I kept hitting, and then I stuck it out, and for 3 hands in a row, I was betting about $250 a hand.
So that means you were plus 900 for the 900 some odd dollars for the weekend.
Yeah, for the week. Yeah, after a whole.
That's not bad.
Hashtag lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it was a good come up. I needed that.
So, we seen the pictures of the urn. What happened with the urn? Did you
smoke? Landon Beam and I, we referenced it.
I was trying to take it out of his parents' house, and then
that wasn't going to happen.
His dad got real upset with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, "What are you doing with it?" And he looked at me very stern and said, "Why do you keep holding it?" And I kind of froze. I didn't know what to say.
So you should have looked at him square in the eyes and said, "Why the fuck did you shoot him in the head?" And made a big deal about it, and got the whole family riled up, and then sneak off. See, man, you gotta hit me up on shit like this, man. I'll talk you through it.
I didn't know what to say.
I do shady shit like this all the time. Trust me.
Still urns and shit like that.
I'm not at liberty to talk about it.
And so everybody's talking about the price tag that you could see on the urn. Of course, it's got a price tag. They didn't give it to them. They didn't fucking give it to them.
Yeah. People think it's free or something.
They were distraught. They were a little upset. They forgot to fucking take the price tag off. Is that such a big deal at this point?
They wanted it to be real natural. You know what I mean? They didn't want to touch the urn. They landed family, picked out the urn.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to support Alabama for the rest of the year. I think in his memory,
Mhm.
I have a Alabama with Oregon losing. Alabama is going to get in that number 4 spot with the loser of LSU with Georgia, and I think Alabama has a really good chance to win it all 4 landing.
No, you don't, motherfucker. You know,
Yeah.
we're both Alabama fans, and you're not bringing the Pike curse over to Alabama. I'm sorry. Not happening. Sorry, well, I'm putting that shit to bed right motherfucking now. You take that shit to Auburn if you want to.
Real.
What's your locks of the week, sorry, I almost called you Landon.
Well, it's the same guy, so.
Well, I kind of am Landon.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
is.
the same thing.
Hashtag fake
Call
profiles.
me, you can call me Landon if you want to.
Hey, you can't see the graphic that we got up right now, but there's a picture of Landon in one corner.
It is. It's beautiful. And there's also the urn.
Yeah.
That looks like a lamp.
It's not, it looks like a lamp, but it's a
They
fucking
said it
urn.
was a lamp. It's a damn urn. What kind of lamp looks like
Well, I mean,
that?
it just, but it looks like a lamp. I mean, things look like things. I know it's an urn, but it looks like a lamp.
It looks like a beehive to me.
Where would you put the light bulb in that thing?
Yeah.
Up there on the top there.
Where would
you
you
screw it in?
Where would you stick your dick on that thing if you was fucking it?
In the hole.
Of course.
You take the urn out and put the ashes out.
Every man knows to put it in the hole.
Put it in the hole. Which hole though?
Shampoo hole.
Okay. The puppet hole.
The shampoo hole in the shower. You got to get that the big industrial bottle though. When you're as girthy as I am.
We got to get these Pike predictions here in these locks.
We do. This is
Pike prediction. I got a good one.
the Justin Pike lock of the week.
Bet the house on Alabama -3.5. Bet the damn house on it.
And that's your Justin Pike lock of the week.
Yeah, that's a lock right there.
All right. How about some hockey? You got any hockey to pick on or?
Go Caps.
Fair enough.
All right.
I'm a Grizzlies guy myself.
All
but
right. How about the NFL?
NFL, I do. I like Oakland plus 90.5 against Kansas City. And
plus what?
Like plus 90.5 against Kansas City.
90.5.
Plus 9.5.
Yeah.
I do. I
90.
like the Houston Texans at home Sunday night against the Patriots +3. Take the Texans +3. I like that one. And I also like Texas A&M +17 against LSU.
You know, I'm with you.
Really?
I'm with you on that. LSU don't
I
have.
think that's going to be a low-scoring affair.
They don't have a defense like Georgia. A&M's going to score. I mean, hell, Ole Miss scored. Ole Miss had 400 yards on the ground against this LSU defense.
It's weird seeing an LSU team that just scores like this, and then they can't stop nobody. It's very weird.
Yep.
It reminds me a lot of Oklahoma with Baker Mayfield. It really does. It really does.
Yeah, except with a win over Alabama.
Yeah,
A win over an SEC. Sorry, they are SEC, but a win over a significant team, which Oklahoma typically don't have.
This is true.
You got a big one in Ohio State, Michigan.
Oh, man,
Absolutely.
that is a huge game.
You got any words of wisdom on that one?
Jim Harbaugh, he just
Booger.
needs to get back to the NFL.
Yep.
If he loses this game, he might be done at Michigan if he loses this game.
You think he gets back to the NFL, or do you think he tries his luck somewhere else?
Yeah, I think he's more of a leader of men than he is a bunch of kids. You know, I don't know. I mean, he was more successful, definitely.
Is after those sleepovers, is he allowed to be around kids anymore, or he's got to be have like a chaperone, like an assistant with him at all times or something?
I don't think that it officially ever any charges were filed or anything.
Did Bear Bryant ever sleep over at a recruit's house? Never.
Probably
Never.
not.
I probably did. There just wasn't social media around.
If he did, it was because he was drunk and he just had to sleep it off for the moment.
He beat his wife.
Oh, well. What are you going to do? I mean, when you get drunk and it's, back then they didn't have the internet and all. I mean, there really wasn't much else to do except beat your wife.
We respect you, President Pike. Do you have a link to anything that would back up Bear beating his wife? I've asked a lot of people this and I never get one.
I could. That's something I could research though.
I mean, you run a lot. You run and much.
I have researched it. I haven't found anything, and I wanted to know. I mean, if there's something covered up here that started this rumor, I can't figure out what has started the rumor because
I don't know. I see it a lot on the pages and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't tell you how many threads I've been in, and it's like, okay, but yeah, I want to see the proof. I'm curious myself,
Right.
just as an Alabama fan.
Absolutely.
It doesn't do anything to tarnish or change his legacy because, quite frankly, I want to beat my wife sometimes. I mean, I don't do it. I think it's probably because I don't drink as much at all.
It's a lot cheaper to just get a good dog and beat your dog. Well, no. In this landscape, it's probably as bad to beat your dog as it is your wife.
I've actually told several helpers that I've had work, because I do plumbing work for a living, and we're a pretty salty bunch. And I years ago, I had a young Hispanic fellow working for me, Byram. Byram is one of the finest human beings I've ever worked alongside, and there's a lot of things that a lot of people can say about the immigration policies or this, that, and the other, but you actually meet somebody that comes over that actually comes across illegally and comes here strictly to work. It kind of changes your perspective a little bit. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Well, we got basically one of those, kind of insults, trading insults back and forth. And he told me very seriously, he looked at me and said, Shannon, one day I'm going to be driving down the road and I'm going to look over and I'm going to see you in the streets eating garbage like a dog. And we both we cracked up. We thought it was funny because the way he said it, he's a very young, very fiery Latin man and was very passionate about the way he said it. It was fucking hilarious. So I looked at him and I told him that I was going to go later that day to the Humane Society and adopt a dog, and I was going to name it Byram, and I was going to shave half of it and beat it every day. That was it. That was the end of it. I was able to kill it with that because he'd go to say something else and just start laughing again because he knew it was true.
You got any words of wisdom to lead us into championship weekend?
Words of wisdom. This is another one I like. What is tonight? Tuesday, Thursday night. Bet the house on Ole Miss.
You know what? I don't think that's a bad pick.
And that's your Justin Pike lock of the week.
That's a great one right there. I do love Alabama -3 now. Although a lot of stupid shit does happen when Alabama goes to Auburn.
It does.
I know. Kick six. Let's talk about that old chestnut again.
Always something silly. Hey, can I change my lock of the week?
Yeah, go ahead.
Justin Pike changes his lock of the week.
My changed lock of the week. Take Ole Miss, hotty damn toddy, +2.5 against Mississippi State.
And that's the real Justin Pike lock of the week.
Woo!
All right, Justin.
President Pike, it is always a pleasure having you on. Are you coming back next
Y'all
week?
have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Same to you, man. Don't eat too much.
All right, I will. See you.
Later.
Find Smacking Off the Podcast on Facebook and on YouTube.
Check out Smacking Off the Podcast on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, and the College Football Wrap-Up Cast, Sundays 9:30 p.m. Eastern.